Welcome back. This is the syllabus. This is syllabus for fall 2025, English 14, 43598. And this is folklore. This is a 3-unit course, and the prerequisite for this course is English 1A, which is now called C1000. It's an online asynchronous course. I'll explain that in a moment. I'll go back to that English 1A prerequisite. That's the only prerequisite that you have for it. So just make sure that you've taken the English 1A class and passed it. And it's also really helpful with this class to have taken English 1B, but you don't have to. That's Introduction to Literature. It helps you with analytical essays that or literature-based essays that you're going to be using different lenses for. But we will be discussing those things in this class, so it's not necessary and it's not a required prerequisite. Okay, so this is an online asynchronous class, which means that it's a flexible class in terms of weekly workload. What you're going to be doing is just jumping on, watching the videos that I have for you, my lecture videos, reading the online content, going from page to page, reading all of the pages and doing the assignments that I'm asking for. That's online asynchronous. We don't have a scheduled specific time or date that we're going to be meeting. So you're going to be doing all of this weekly. I upload my courses on Tuesday mornings from 9 to 10 a.m. And so you'll be able to see a week in advance. Sometimes if it's a larger assignment or a larger unit, you're going to be able to see 2 or 3 weeks beforehand. I find that any more than that is a little bit unwieldy and a little overburdensome for students. So I keep it to about a week to 2 weeks maximum most of the semester. And you'll have plenty of stuff. A lot of times the week, it might span or go into the next week, and it'll let you know, this is a 2 weeks worth of reading or whatever I have for you. Okay, so my name is Marisol Baca. You can refer to me as Professor Baca, Ms. Baca, or Marisol. Any of those is totally fine with me. How do you contact me? Well, you can email me either at marisol.baca@fresnocitycollege.edu or Canvas inbox email. Both of those are fine. I check them both multiple times throughout the day. And this is the fastest, this is the easiest way to get a hold of me other than office hours. So if you jump on my office hours or come to see me during my office hours, in my office, I host office hours Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays in person. Monday, 12 to 12:50 p.m., Tuesday, 2 to 2 p.m., Wednesdays, 12 to 12:50 p.m. It's all in the humanities office FO2, which is my office, which can be found in between the language arts building and the old math and science building. So definitely come and see me. Even though this is an online course, I welcome you to come and see me in person. And I can answer questions, help you out with anything that you might need. Thursdays are my Zoom office hours from 11 to 12 p.m. And you can just click the link and that'll take you directly to my Zoom meeting on Thursdays. Again, you don't have to go. These are not mandatory, but they are really helpful. And once we get into the weeds and you might need some help with some stuff, this is a really helpful time to come and see me and get some extra help. If you don't see a time that you can make this semester for my office hours, but you still want to meet with me, definitely send me an email and I'll set up an appointment with you to meet with you outside of these hours. You can also call me. My office number is 442-8201. My extension is 8184. I will tell you, however, that not the easiest way to get a hold of me. I usually check my emails multiple times per day, many times per day, but I usually don't check my phone except maybe once in the morning because I'm in my office only for a little bit during office hours and I might not get your message. So email and office hours are the best way to get a hold of me. All right, let's talk about the fun stuff this semester. So this is a survey of folklore and literature, film, and the visual arts from around the world. It helps to develop close reading and analytics writing skills, promote appreciation and critical understanding of diverse cultural, historical, and aesthetic qualities. Folklore isn't everything, as many who come to assume it is, but it's many things. And most importantly, it is us, everybody, all of us folk being ordinary and human. We'll learn this semester what that means by reading, telling stories, telling jokes, listening to music, exploring visual art, and learning about rituals, ghost stories, and a whole world of stuff considered folklore. This is one of my very favorite classes to teach. And I've taught a lot of different classes. I've taught classical myths. I've taught a number of different literature courses, and I've taught the composition courses. And this one is just really special. It's so fun. There's so many different things, but that's something that you have to take into consideration. There's a lot of different stuff that you're going to be learning about. The first few weeks, we really are going to be focusing on the foundational aspects of folklore. Folklore isn't found all the time in its own department. A lot of times, unless you're like somewhere like UC Berkeley has a really famous folklore department. But for the most part, it can be difficult to find a department that is just based on folklore. A lot of times you're going to take a course like film and look at folklore and film, or you might take a literature course, right, like this one, that looks at different writings and different kinds of things that are associated with literature and folklore. Anthropology, you might take a folklore class that's based on archaeological or anthropological ideas. So it's really helpful to know that because folklore is so very big. It spans everything from dirty jokes to really amazing composed music. Everything from making masks to teatro campesino, lots of different things. So folklore is like everything, it seems like sometimes, but learning the foundations really will help you to develop the understanding that it actually isn't everything. It's a lot of things, but how do we recognize whether or not something is folklore or not folklore? That can be a really difficult question. And it's also something that's continually argued about in folklore circles and literature circles. That's what makes it really fun and interesting. Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about for a second there. Let's go back to it. There is a disclaimer. Not all things are happy, funny, inspiring, beautiful, just, or moral. In this class, you may be confronted by folklore that is problematic, traumatic, racist, sexist, immoral, unjust, rude, and or disgusting. This class does not set out to glorify or celebrate these darker parts of humanity. Instead, we will try to look at these things and create a dialogue around them. Please be aware that these things may come up and you may be exposed to them in this class. Because we will be dealing with some difficult content, I insist on a classroom of students that are mutually respectful and sensitive to one another. This is really important, especially given the discussion boards and the assignments that are associated with different types of folklore. Like I said earlier, folklore can be a dirty joke. It can be things that are brought down through generations or traditions that we don't agree with or are horrified or disgusted or annoyed by. They can be scary stories or weird stories. That's all a part of it. And we are going to be looking at those while we won't be diving into them too deeply because it's a survey course. You may be reading something that you don't agree with or you think is weird or strange or uncomfortable. If it is, talk to me about it, but definitely be sensitive to your fellow classmates and be sensitive to me, your professor. We will all be trying to be sensitive to each other. It's really important for this class in order to have fun with it, to keep our opinions respectful and open to what others might believe in something or anything like that. Okay, so disclaimer. Required text. This is our book, the one that you need to have this week. Make sure you buy it. You can get it in multiple formats. You can get it on Kindle. You can get it digitally. You can get it in physical form. I have multiple forms of it. I don't care which form you have. Just make sure that you have it and that you're reading from it regularly with the assignments that I'm giving. Folklore 101, An Accessible Introduction to Folklore Studies by Dr. Gina Jorgensen. This is a really new book, and some of these chapters were from her blog. So they read like blog posts. They're really interesting, fun, insightful, and it gives a really well-rounded, I think, introduction and foundation to Folklore 101 and just to folklore in general. What are the genres of folklore? What do we talk about when we're reading folklore? Looking at folklore, how can we tell what folklore is and what it isn't? All of that stuff you'll be reading about here. Other readings, and there will be quite a few of them, are going to be handouts that can be found on Canvas. You're going to be reading a lot of different kinds of stuff. This is not the kind of course where you're just reading a textbook. This is the kind of course where you're reading blog posts, you're watching reels on TikTok, you're looking at all sorts of different kind of weird things that you wouldn't normally read or look at, or maybe that you're really familiar with, like fan fiction or things like that. So there's a lot of different kinds of things that you're going to read, but you're also going to be listening to stuff. You're going to be watching videos. You're going to be looking at objects, craft objects or folk art objects. I'm going to click on just one of the assignments. It's in a kind of a different state, so you might not recognize it when you get it. But this is kind of what I'm talking about. So usually what you're going to have is you're going to have a central reading. So you'll have maybe, for example, this one is Bluebeard. It's a fairy tale that was written by Perrault, and but it's a folk tale as well. So it's not just written by one person. It has different variations of the story. You'll read a one-page story that is Bluebeard, but you're going to also have a bunch of other stuff that you're going to be reading surrounding it. For example, if you look at this, I've created a playlist on YouTube just on Bluebeard, songs that are associated with or written about Bluebeard. I have historical documents. I have short things that you can read about what was going on at the time. This is from Britannica, Encyclopedia Britannica. A theatrical recording of Bluebeard, a biography, the Modern Art Museum and the Met. I have like a timeline of historical artwork that surrounds the time period that it was being written. Different books that were being written that you can look at and compare to the reading that you're doing. All sorts of different stuff. Artwork, obviously. Different articles that you can read. Websites where there's a blog about Bluebeard that's really amazing. It shows lots of different amazing illustrations. The history or backstory of Bluebeard is here. Associations with the serial killer that they talk about, a lot of different things. So this is a really interesting place to look, but you're going to have some time to look through a page like this. This might be a page that I'll give you, and I'll give you like 2 weeks to explore it. So not all things are just, not all readings are just from the textbook. There's a lot of kind of these packets that I put together for the different readings based on what we're working on. And I want you to kind of explore those and look through them. Let's move to attendance. This course relies on weekly assignments, discussions with your professor, discussions with one another. Your attendance is based on being present on campus, actively participating in discussion boards, and turning in assignments on time. Not being present in discussions, assignments, or page view analytics will result in weekly absences, and 2 weeks worth of absences may result in you being dropped from the course. In the beginning, I'm definitely also going to be looking very closely at your discussion posts. Please make sure that your discussion posts are written and are authentically you and not created by artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, etc. Make sure that you're actually writing the stuff and creating the content that you're writing about. So don't use AI. I may mistake those and might think you are not an actual person taking the course. So please make sure that you're authentically answering questions for a discussion board and that you're not using those things, because it can get really confusing and I don't know if you're a robot or not. Academic accommodations. If you have a documented disability that may require classroom accommodations, please see me immediately after class or contact the FCC Disabled Students Programs and Services, DSPNS, in Building A. If you think you might have a learning disability but are not sure, DSPNS may still be able to assist you. All information is confidential and will be kept confidential. And I can add a link here if you need one to DSPNS. If you need more information on it, you can send me an email or come and see me during my office hours. Late assignments, discussion boards, and small assignments are not usually counted if they're late. So please be aware of that. Make sure that you're getting them in on time. For essays, you do have 3 days to turn in a late major assignment, and 15 points will be deducted from that final score. Those are for your major essays, 100-point essays. If you need an extension, come and talk to me beforehand. It should be 24 hours in advance. So come and talk to me beforehand and ask for an extension. An extension means that you will be able to turn something in late and you won't necessarily get points deducted. Plagiarism. Please read through the plagiarism. This involves, or includes taking ideas, passages of work, and direct quotations, not crediting the source, using artificial intelligence for content creation or to revise your essays, etc. You really should be doing your own work. Please read through this. Essays, you're going to be assigned a couple of 5-page essays that require revisions, not necessarily peer reviews in this course. And you want to be using MLA format for all of your essays. This is the breakdown for the grades. Essay 1 and 2 are worth 100 points. There's an ethnography project that's worth 100 points. That'll be more towards the middle of the semester. Folk art projects, there are about 4 of them, and I will be talking about those in a little bit more detail after this. Discussion posts, in-class participation. In-class participation is worth 100 points. It includes attendance, note-taking, short presentations, quizzes, etc. This is a 600-point grade scale, and it's pretty much 100 points almost for every single thing. So you can take a look at that and see what it means. You can read your learning outcomes and your important dates for the semester. They're both here. This is an online course, so everything that you're going to be doing is going to be a little bit more flexible in terms of the week that you're working on it. And so our final date and time is not necessarily on a specific day. It'll be the last week, and I'll give you your times that you need to upload a last or a final assignment. Okay. That was the syllabus. So if you have any questions, let me know ahead of time. Come and see me during my office hours, etc. Okay, so I think I was going to talk a little bit more about one of those things. Let me take a look. Discussion posts. Oh, yeah, the folk art projects. Let me just go to that page so that you see it. Oops. Under the modules, there's in the first week, there's the very first thing that says class stuff. There's a lot of information on taking notes here. I do grade you on your note taking, and you have to upload notes. You can use, obviously, your writing, your note taking for assignments that you're reading, that you're working on. It's okay to have doodles and drawings and all sorts of other things in those journals. They're meant for you to get your ideas out and use as kind of templates and for creativity. So you need a blank journal with blank pages, or you can use a tablet if you have a tablet, or an iPad, whatever you want to use. Okay, so those are the things, but I wanted to show you down here. There are some general craft supplies that you're going to want to get. Craft paper, so white copy paper is totally fine. I don't care if you have lots of different colored papers. Some people have them, some people don't, but make sure that you have some white paper. Color pens or pencils or crayons, all of those are fine. Black and white is fine as well. If you like charcoal, go for it. Scissors, glue, and tape are helpful, like a glue stick, a thing of tape, and make sure that you have some scissors. These are going to be really helpful when you make folk art. There are going to be about 4 major folk art sessions during the semester. The first one is coming up. And they just ask for general stuff. You don't usually have to have anything specific other than what I just wrote down here, but make sure that you have those things. If I am asking for something specific, I will provide it. You can come and pick it up in my office, but I also will be scheduling some non-mandatory in-person fun craft assignment day sessions. I'll get a classroom for use, and it'll just be me in there, and you can come in and I can show you how to do the assignment, how to create what you're going to create. So for example, shadow puppets, I'll have the stuff there that's specific for making shadow puppets or masks, etc. So these are non-mandatory. You do not have to go to them, but you will have to get the materials from me some way. So you can come and get them from my office hours. That's when I'll have them available for you, and I'll let you know way in advance so you have a couple of weeks to come and pick them up. If not, you got to get it yourself. So make sure that you're able to get to campus to get those supplies if you need them. Okay, so I will have these sessions. I will let you know ahead of time. They're going to be just open sessions. You can meet each other. They're in person and they're in a classroom, probably OAB 180. So the old administration building, classroom 180. But I will let you know in the future when they are. I will have all of the stuff available for you, and I'll give you instruction online, but I'll give you instruction as well at the actual meeting if you decide to come. All right, so it can be fun if you have the time and you want to do that. Students love to do a few of these assignments and they like to do them together. So it's just a popular thing to do. So you're welcome to join in, and I'll let you know ahead of time when I'm going to be making those available. All right. That was the big thing that you're going to want to know about. So share, and I think that's it. This was the syllabus. It's a contract between you and me. Take a look at it. If you have questions about it, definitely ask me during office hours. And I look forward to seeing you at the next lecture, and hopefully I'll see you there and you'll be ready by having read the first chapter, the introductory chapter of Jorgensen's Folklore 101. I think that's it. Okay. Well, welcome, and I'll see you soon.